Pass the L, taking the learn and not the loss. Coming up on BTS RAW Chats.
This is BTS RAW Chats. BTS RAW Chats. Where real media creators chat after hours. We don't give away raw files. We give you the raw, behind-the-scenes chatter of the photo and video production world. The RAW Chat starts now.
If you don't know what this show is about, we are real media creators talking about what really happens within the production industry. We want this show to help others out there deal with the day-to-day things that really happen within the production industry. Before we get started, I am in the room with greatness.
I'll just spit all over the microphone.
And his name is John C.
My guest, the one, the only, Sherry.
Hey, I'm like looking for the greatness. I'm like, where is it? I don't see anything.
So today we're talking about taking that L. What do we mean by that? Honestly, like we feel like losers, but you got to take it in another way. Take it as a learn, not a loss, right? So what exactly do we mean by that? Well, let me put my L out there.
Okay.
My L was to be investing in equipment such as what you're listening to now, and spending so much of my money, and I feel like it was a loss. But really, was it a loss? Not necessarily, not to me. I think it's more of a learn. I'm learning how to use some of this equipment, and I'm learning what the techniques are to produce something so that way I could gain that money back.
Right, and now you have like a whole recipe
Exactly.
of how to go about doing podcasts.
And I'm still learning. So, trying to gather as much information as possible so that way I can have a more successful and more efficient way of doing podcasting. Sherry,
Your turn.
Pass that loss. Pass that L.
Give me that L, D.
Give me that L.
Pass that shit over here.
Tell the audience a little bit about your L.
My L. First of all, I always take everything as a loss.
Mm-hmm.
I don't dwell on it for too long, maybe for a minute, and then I move on. But the biggest L right now is having to say goodbye to the studio.
Mm-hmm.
I had it for 6 months, and this was kind of like a test.
Right.
So it's not really a loss because we really used it to its full advantage. We've done so much stuff in here. I mean, the podcast for one, it brought us together, and like now we're off and we're gonna do bigger and better things. But I mean, we use this place for photo, video, podcasts. So it really was used for what I envisioned it for, just not as long as I wanted it to.
Right.
But I think it's definitely a learn. But the biggest loss is probably just the financial ruins behind it. But hey, I said, I'll just take it.
You didn't have Daddy Warbucks, you know what I'm saying, supporting your passion.
Right.
You took it onto yourself,
right.
which I think, I've said it before, you're my hero on doing that, because not a lot of people would take that extra step to do that. You try to do it on your own, but there's certain circumstances. I honestly think, in my opinion, due to the circumstances that happen in your life, maybe didn't have enough time frame to actually grow the business per se. You had little sprouts here and there.
Yeah.
Something was happening, because obviously you would be literally homeless.
Right.
But you're not.
Right.
You took that step. You're not giving yourself enough credit than where credit is due. And I applaud you for that. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, it generated so many different things. The most important thing is networking, and we started networking with so many other people. people that were guests on the show that didn't know, you know, that
I know we had
a
so
podcast,
many guests,
you know, and people that just didn't know about Sherry and like your photography business, you
and
know.
the same with you.
And our ultimate fan, Michael.
Yeah. Go, Michael.
Thank you, Michael, for the support since day one.
Yeah.
We wouldn't know anything about how to run a podcast or anything like that, or share our stories with anybody
and
if
like
it wasn't for this place.
And the work that we put in just to make a single podcast.
Absolutely.
We have such solid and thought through topics. Like, we scripted things out, we did research. So I mean, it was a really good test to see like what we can do.
Right.
And I think now the next time around we're going to be even bigger, even better.
Yeah.
We have a lot under our belt now, and I think now we're ready to like start venturing out and do something new chapter.
The biggest thing is definitely taking that L.
Yeah.
The show says it all. I would want to take that L because the thing is, you can't learn from success. You learn from failure. You have to fail in order for you to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
But some people keep failing.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
Eventually they're going to learn.
And
you
I
know?
think that's okay because, like, somebody said something to me, like, they've known me for, like, years.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, I admire you because it's one thing about you is that you keep trying.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I don't see it that way, you know, but, like, I know I do. I keep try different ways. And it's not repeating the same mistake over again. It's just trying new things or trying to, I pursue stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So whether I'm successful at it or not, but at least I know I tried. You know, like, all right, I tried this. And like you said, it's just, I needed more time.
Right.
6 months was definitely not enough time to
but
really
given the circumstances, not a lot of people know, and I'm not going to share this, but there were so many things that happened throughout this journey of building your business that it's been such a struggle to get, like, why can't I get a break? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then what do I smell? Broken dreams.
You know, what was it? You pulled up the other day and I was carrying stuff out to the car and you're like, what are you doing? I'm just packing up my dreams.
Shattered dreams. It is a loss because you're losing that part of your life, but it's a chapter closed, and then the next chapter is going to be even bigger and better. You know what you're going to run into the next time, or if there is a next time that you run into this, because you already know, because you've done that, and you're not going to take on those mistakes again.
Right.
So
like the next time I get an urge and I find a really amazing space.
Yeah.
Don't go, you know.
But the biggest thing that I admire you is, like, you went with your passion. The hard part is having people fund that type of passion. It is very difficult to stick with something like this. Obviously, you want to be that famous photographer that, takes on anything and everything. But there's certain things that you got to be realistic on things.
Right.
There's some projects that you got to eat shit on, you know?
And that's what was happening. And I felt myself just not being happy with what I was doing because that's not what I envisioned. Because I've spent years doing stuff like that. So this was supposed to be where I can finally do what I know that I'm good at, and it just didn't happen.
The good part is you nipped it in the butt early. Maybe in your life, this is not the time. Maybe later on it's going to happen.
Right.
But the biggest thing is that retracting back to your old ways of running a photography business, where the good part about you is you're not going to no, I'm not going to go back to that because I hated it. You know?
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest. There's, like, you're not, if you hate taking pictures of birds or cats for so many years, people are going to know you as that. But, like, you want to take pictures of party and all this other stuff, but it's hard to fund that type of lifestyle. Right. You're going to have to do projects that you're not going to like, but it's going to fund, it's going back to the funding of projects that you do like to do.
Right, yeah. another L, although this is coming to an end. Like it's kind of making me take a step back and reevaluate what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I am going to take a break from photography, not because, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm just a little burnt out on it, but I've gotten on this new path where now I'm doing more video work.
Yeah.
And I'm putting all of my skills that I learned from my old job into new jobs.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of excited to start like this new path. And like, I'm kind of glad that this is ending because now I can put all my focus into that and do a really good job and maybe start getting more and more contract work that way.
Right.
So it really is a new chapter. So it's like something good came out of it.
Exactly.
So that is the learn, like,
exactly.
All right, and now I'm learning that. And maybe the photography is not for me. Maybe it was good for the time, but maybe I'm supposed to be doing something else, or I don't know.
But guess what? You got that L, that learning. You're a lot further along than your typical person that has bought their camera off of Best Buy and asking you, what's the M stand for?
What's this button do?
That's when you grab the camera and just toss it on the floor and just smash it, That's what the M stands for. The M stands for I'm mad as hell at you for not educating yourself on this beautiful crushed camera.
It's true.
You have to be proud, taking on educating yourself as much as you can and learning how to do this stuff, and also learning how to run the business side of things, and
right.
What are the frustrating parts of the business side of things, and also what is like the irritating parts of business, because you've done it all. I've seen you bust your ass to get marketing out there and to push certain things out there, but you're only one person,
right.
and the time frame and given the certain
everything else that was
circumstances
happening at the same time with that was
you've had offers to do jobs. The problem is you just don't want to do those particular jobs.
Exactly.
You're saying no to it now because guess what? You're going to get stuck in that rut.
Right.
Life happens and whatnot, and you got to pay bills.
Right.
You got to pay your loan back.
Right.
That's why you're taking a job,
right?
So that way you could pay for your L.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, so I'm doing all this work that I swore that I wasn't going to do again.
Yeah.
But you find yourself in situations where you can't say no because you do need the money. But then it puts you into this whole other like frame of mind where it's like, well, I didn't open this studio to be going backwards.
Exactly.
And that's kind of where I felt I was going, and like I feel like a lot of my work was suffering because of it too, because I wasn't 100% into it. And
I did spot that in one of the shows, and then you were like, "Hey."
Yeah. and it happened with other things too, and I know it because I know I'm just not into it.
Exactly.
The way that I should be, and so I don't know. It really is like just take it and learn from it and.
Take that
Keep
out.
It moving.
Pass that out.
Yeah.
We're going to talk more about this after this commercial break.
Sherry Elisa Photography specializes in beautifully styled modern portrait photography, offering professional in-studio photography services to all of Southwest Florida. Push creativity to the next level. Create custom themes that will complement every personality and style. On-site professional hair and makeup is also available. Our studio is conveniently located off US 41 and Boy Scout Drive, next door to the Sam's Club Plaza. Book your spot now with SherryElisaPhotography.com.
And we are back. And guess what? That was a commercial for Sherry Elisa Photography. We've been trying to see that's another big effort. We have been trying to market as much as we possibly can without spending so much amount of money, because we don't have that type of money to advertise your services. And we have tried, but possibly with it being a little bit longer, maybe we would have had some more traffic.
Right. I mean, I was getting work, staying pretty busy, but again, it just wasn't what I envisioned it to be. Like I really wanted it to be more of like a portrait beauty studio. I had this really awesome like hair and makeup getting ready area, and even that fell through. Like I just couldn't find, an artist to work with because conflicting schedules. So that was difficult because all of the packages that I put together, which let me tell you, I still stand by these packages that I put a lot of work into. All of them require hair and makeup. So if I don't have the hair and makeup, that kind of destroys the package. So like that wasn't working, and it was just like everything was like an uphill battle. I think it just wasn't the right time. I don't know. I mean, websites revamped, like, I still love the way my website looks. I did
absolutely.
a ton of like, marketing, even, paid for ads, and like was trying to do everything that I thought I did more than I've ever really done for it before. Just kind of falls on deaf ears.
That's wild.
Or you get people that reach out. Everybody wants photos, but then nobody gets back to you. And then, the work that I was getting was stuff that I really didn't want to do, but I kind of had, my hands were tied, and then I think that just kind of adds to, it just kind of sours the whole dream.
Right.
It's like,
right.
I found myself starting to get a little bit like depressed. Like, this is not even why I started this. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
This is actually the reason why I stopped shooting a few years ago.
Yeah.
So I felt like everything was like replaying itself over again. I'm like, and now I'm like deep into it financially. Like I said, you have to not take it as a loss, take it as a learn. And I'm like super grateful about all of the work that me and you've put in to our podcast and things that we're going to continue to do and work on in the future.
Absolutely.
And that's it.
Absolutely. Obviously, the most frustrating part is putting all that finance backing up what you would like to have done with this place, because the vision was there. Obviously the pricing plans were there. The biggest frustrating part was, why aren't people biting on this? Spending so much time, money, and effort. Why aren't people biting on this? That's the ultimate question.
Like, I don't know. It's like crickets.
Is it because of people not valuing this type of service?
Probably.
I don't know what it is.
Probably.
I really don't. I can't point my finger, because you're super talented. You have magazine credits. I don't think, definitely for sure, this is not the last of things. People have fallen so much more further than what you have. So don't take it as a loss. Take it as a learn, for sure. Now, here's the thing. What type of advice would you give somebody that is about to do what you did months ago? What is the word of advice to give to that person that is looking into starting their own business, opening up their own store and all that stuff?
The only thing that I can really offer is just to make sure financially that you'll be able to do it. I, at the time, thought I would be able to carry it because of the situation I was in at the time. But just know, situations change.
Yes.
Which changes your plan entirely.
Yes.
So like right now, even if I had to keep it, I can't pay 2 rents, so you have to have that funding available, because just because you build it does not mean that they will come, and I thought in my head when I was opening this place that I would definitely be able to make enough business where I would at least cover the rent and the expenses of the studio. I've done it before. I had a successful little studio right downtown, but my rent was half the price, so it was a lot easier to maintain.
Right.
And so all I had to do was like book 1 session a month, if that, and that would cover everything. So this was a lot different. So I would just say, make sure you're financially in a place to where you would be able to maintain and keep it going for longer than 6 months. And don't put yourself into debt thinking that it'll be fine and I'll be able to generate enough business to pay that off, because it didn't happen.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then you kind of get stuck. Now I'm be stuck paying more on a studio that I don't have.
Yeah.
And I may have to maybe take a couple jobs that I don't want to do just to cover that expense.
But at least you took the step and you've learned from that to hopefully not make that mistake again.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe you could have more funding to support something even bigger than what you have now.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
I don't really see it like as a loss. Like I still stand by this place. Like I loved it. I loved everything about it. You know, I come in here and it makes me smile, and I love when all of us were in here. I mean, we had video productions going on, you know, shooting commercials, doing all types of stuff in here. And it was great. Like that's really what I wanted this place to be. Multimedia. It's not just photo. It's everything.
Exactly.
You know? But you know, maybe next time around it'll be different.
My advice would be, again, I'm not a financial advisor by all means, but like if you could cover at least 6 months of the rent. The thing is that you're not going to turn a profit in 6 months.
Right.
Let's just put it out there. You have to do like the little jobs to make sure that you fill up that bucket of that 6 months to a year to pay just the rent, and then the rest of the money is going to go into the marketing. You will not see a profit at least 3 or 4 years later, realistically.
And like honestly, this place, this wasn't really this. I mean, obviously, it wasn't really thought through. It just kind of happened.
But in your case, this was more, I would say, like more of a passion business rather than, it's almost like a nonprofit, I would say, because realistically, I don't want to be. You want it to make a right. Like everybody keeps saying my business. No, this has been my side hustle since like 2013. Yeah, because so whether I have a doing it because it was made you feel good, it was awesome. Right. Like, how do I continue to do something that I love doing? Right, and making a living off of it. Right, and I wasn't trying to make a living. Like I still consider it my side hustle. It's like whether I have a studio or not, it's still going to be there because it's a part of me and it's a part of what I do. But my whole thought behind this was that a lot of the style of photos that I offer, I need to have a dedicated space. Right. Like I shot everywhere, but some things you need to have a dedicated space. So I thought it would be nice to have that and make it very feminine and make it to where, women can come and be pampered and have their hair professionally done and makeup and have, a spread of food and wine and just make like the whole experience. So when I found this place, it was totally by accident. Like I said, I wasn't even really looking, but I found this spot and I just fell in love with it. So it was something that I just kind of jumped on, and I didn't 100% think it all the way through. I was just trying to find ways to where I could swing it. Right. And that's what happened. And it kind of like, I don't want to say it blew up in my face, but there were so many other things that happened at the time when I got this place that I thought I would be able to actually swing it. Right. But then, life happens, and I've been just trying to keep my head above water this entire 6 months. Absolutely. And like I'm just now getting back on my feet, so I'm like, now that the lease is up, it's a good time just to cut ties and let it be, and start over again and start a new path. It may or may not be the final end all be all. Right. Yeah. Obviously, you're gonna do other things that are within the niche, and not totally abandon your passion, but you can't that's a part of your soul. Exactly. And I say like, oh, that's it, I'm done, I'm not going to shoot it, which is not true. Like but I do like to take breaks and take a step back, because I feel like then when you do come back again, you're like refreshed. You're done and you're frustrated because you're relying on other people to, you know what I'm saying, like to fund that passion. But at the same token, it's like, it's frustrating because nobody understands, you put so much effort and passion in making it look awesome and great and creative and original. You don't want to copycat anybody else. That's your work. You're proud of that work. The hard part is trying to continue to fund that work, and keep on creating cool things. Yeah. Definitely not a loss. Right. Obviously. And I'll always create no matter what. I've been doing it since I was 3-4 years old. Right. Like the minute I picked up a crayon. You're born with it. Right. So like whether I'm taking photos or I'm doing, I don't know, drawing something, like whatever, I'm always going to be making something. Absolutely. So this studio doesn't define
that part of me.
Absolutely.
It just added to it and it gave me a nice, cool place to work in.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I have to go back to shooting somewhere in the park, or it sometimes that's better because you're forced to be extra creative. You know, but I don't know. New beginnings.
Here's to new beginnings.
I feel like I say that all the time because I'm always starting over. Maybe it's a good thing.
Hey, it is because then you venture on to another journey in your life.
Yeah.
It's not about, it's not about the destination. It's about the journey.
I know. And we're going to start a new journey.
Absolutely.
I know
Absolutely.
there's like things in the works that
Absolutely.
we're going to start working on.
And now our 3 recommendations. Our first recommendation comes from a very special person. He is one of the top motivational speakers that I had the privilege to work with, Ray Higdon. This video is how to quit your job and work from home. Number 2, this is from Think Media. 5 mistakes YouTube creators make that causes them to fail. Number 3, this is from Filmmaking Mentor. This clip highlights exactly where to invest your time and money when starting a video production business. And that's our 3 recommendations. Be sure to check the show notes. Well, with that, what is the point of the show?
Don't open a studio when you don't have enough money.
Exactly! Yay! No, take the L. Take the L. Take it as a learn, not a loss.
That's right. Don't what is it? Don't be a loser.
Don't be a loser.
Learner?
Be a learner. And with that, that's our end of the season for BTS RAW Chats. And we are going to be down for a little bit, but hopefully we could pick it back up and have more creative podcasts coming up.
Yeah.
So stay tuned, Michael,
Yeah.
because we're coming in full force
Yeah.
in season 2 of our podcast. For everyone else, thank you so much for listening to us. If you are a subscriber or if you're even a new subscriber, take a listen and a look. In our past podcasts, there's a lot of hidden gems within our podcast.
Definitely.
And also, just stick with us because season 2 is coming up and it's going to be a big one.
It's going to be a remix.
It's going to be a huge remix. The possibilities are, we're talking, and I'm just going to give you a sneak peek. I'll just give you a sneak peek because there's 3 topics that I would love to talk about. One is creative collaborations, the future of workflow.
That's a good one.
The other is live streaming. Is it too late? I don't think it is, because we're going to talk about hybrid streaming.
Nice.
And also, another fun little topic that I would like to look into is the metaverse.
Yes.
Ooh. What are the expectations of producing metaverse technology?
It's a good topics. Solid topics.
So you got to take a look. Things might change creatively, so please take a look or take a listen. And remember, this was BTS RAW Chats.
Now pass that L back over here, will you?
You got it.